I was muted. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Go ahead and turn that music off. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody is having a great night. I'm doing pretty good myself. Just getting into the swing of things. A little late tonight. Had some technical things I was working on, but I am able to show y'all my iPad tonight, so we can actually talk some numbers and go over these things. So, drop your name, age, and state, if you will, in the chat room. I want to know where y'all were streaming from so I can get to know y'all a little better, understand where my audience is. I know y'all are all over the world, but I want to know where you at. And I want to know like your age range. I want to understand what your personal pain points are right now so I can help you as best as possible. So if you would, in the comments, in the chat room, let me know name, age, location, things of that nature. So today we're talking about why you're not where you want to be financially. But I want to ask you in general, this is a question that I would love to see in the chat room. I would imagine the answer is no for this, but are you where you want to be financially? A lot of people aren't. And I would say if you have like a growth mindset in general, most likely you're not where you want to be, because once you hit that goal, now it's another goal you're reaching. Like you're happy where you are. Maybe I should ask this. Are you happy with where you're at financially? And then I will second that by saying, are you where you want to be financially? Could be a yes, could be a no, but I'm just curious where you all are at right now as far as where your mind is, where you're at in the world. Are you paying too much? Are you using the tools that are available to you? And that's really what this whole thing is about. I'm here to show you, if you're not where you want to be financially, how we can fix that. We're not here to just complain. We're here to discuss, like, this is what's happening right now, and this is what I'm doing about it, and this is how it's going to better my life. We're not complainers over here. We are going to succeed in life. So if y'all are curious, I'm going to give you my name, age, and location. My name is Reggie. Y'all know this already, but age 30, just turned 30 last month, so I'm like 30 in a month years old, and I'm in Nevada at the moment. So from North Carolina, just in case anybody was curious. But question of the evening, how would you describe where you want to be financially? It's one thing to answer the question, are you where you want to be financially? Are you happy with where you are financially? But how would you even describe where it is that you want to be financially? Is it, I want to go on vacation, but like I really want to go on vacation. I don't just want it to be a weekend at Disneyland where I'm checking my bank account nervously, not sure if I'm overspending or not, and then coming back from the vacation still having to live, and now I got to reach into my credit card swipe so I can pay for rent this month because I overspent on my vacation. I don't want that anymore. I want to really go on vacation. I'm talking a 7-day full on vacation where we can do whatever we want, whenever we want, go out to eat wherever we want, buy whatever we want from whichever store, from whichever amusement park, from whichever whatever. Go to any resort, go to the beach, and just be stress free and just be able to relax and sleep at night. You know, what does your financial picture even look like for yourself? That's what you got to start asking. How do you even describe it? Once we start describing where we want to be financially, we start to really understand how far we are right now from where we're going to be in the future. So that was a vacation example, but there's also stressful examples like, I don't want to have to worry about medical bills. If it comes, it comes, and it's just something that I pay for, minor inconvenience, but like, hey, I'm alive, I'm healthy, my family's healthy, my family's alive, that type of thing. Able to have that freedom and that stability and that security. That's the type of thing. How do you describe that full picture? Because a lot of us are striving for something that we don't even know that we're looking for at the moment. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't always know what I was looking for financially. I just knew I wasn't there yet. I just knew that I'd like to have more money in my bank account. I just knew that I'd like to have more money in general outside of my job. That's what I knew. I just didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know if I wanted to have full control as far as I decide when I wake up. I decide when I go to sleep. I decide what I do all day, every day. I decide how much money I want to come into my account. And, you can decide, do you want to go into business for yourself? Do you want to have a job that's high paying? Do you want people working for you? You decide these things. But it's going to be based off of your personality and based off of your personal preferences. And that's what a lot of people don't really understand or realize. So, that is the question of the evening. What I would like for y'all to do in the comments, let me know, or not, I keep saying comments, in the chat room, let me know. How would you describe where you want to be financially? Just answer that for me. And I will describe to y'all because it drastically changes just about every single year. But we'll get into me a little bit later. Word of the day is consumer. That's a noun. This is a person who purchases goods or services for personal use. Now, there's a good side of the consumers and there's a bad side of the consumers, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So before I get into this video, I do want to leave you with this. We know that there's purchases that bring money into your pocket and there's purchases that take money out of your pocket. And you have to look at yourself and say, am I buying more things that are taking money out of my pocket, or am I buying more things that are putting money into my pocket? And no matter what your answer is, what am I doing to improve that ratio so that I can see more money for myself in the future? So that is the word of the day, consumer. I know it's a super simple word. I know you hear it all the time and you already know what it means. But the thing about that is, we hear words all the time, but we don't even realize that those words are defining us. Consumer defines so much of America, especially. We consume content. We scroll on TikTok, we scroll on Instagram, and scroll. We're spending so much time, so many hours consuming on a digital level. We're spending time consuming on a physical level with clothes and jewelry and all kinds of different things, cars, houses, rent, you name it, we bought it. And there's nothing wrong with that on the surface until you start looking at, am I where I want to be financially? Because if you're not, you have to look at the consumer side and look at what you're doing. So I'm not going to stay on that too long, but I did just want to let you know that. And I want to know, with the definition of that, what are your financial vices right now? And then on the other end, what are your financial habits right now that are actually helping you? I want to see both of those in the chat room because a lot of times we are still doing good. It just feels like we're doing bad or worse than we actually are, simply because of the fact that we have so many vices and there are things working against us right now, which we'll be talking about. I have a comment. Uh, Chuck Alyssa. I hope I said your name right. Sorry if I didn't. Identity theft is a real can't be putting too much info here. Hello from South Carolina. Oh no, I totally understand that. Yeah. Identity theft is real. That is 100% a real thing. So, yeah, definitely just keep it short. Like, even if it was just like first name, age, blah blah. But anyway, no, I perfectly understand that. But thank you so much for participating in the chat room. I definitely appreciate that. Welcome to the show this evening. So, as y'all are putting those things in the comments, your financial vices, your good financial habits, and how you would describe where you would be, where you want to be financially, I know I gave y'all a lot today to put in the chat room, but I want to hear from y'all. I'm very curious about these things, and also whatever you're willing to share, you know, it's perfectly fine. I just like the feedback and the overall just back and forth with talking to you all, because this channel was built to help real people. And what I noticed from just posting videos about topics that I wanted to talk about, I noticed that some would get traction, some wouldn't. Some people would be commenting, some wouldn't. And so with here, I have real-time feedback, and I'm able to actually answer your questions and answer your concerns right here and there. And that's what the whole purpose of this channel is about. So I like this live platform a lot better. Just so y'all know, what I do is I'll take these lives, they end up being 1 hour plus, and I split them up into smaller videos that can then go on YouTube separately like that. But thank you, Chuck Alyssa. I really appreciate that. Maybe it's Chukalissa. Maybe it's Chukalissa. Let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right. But anyway, as y'all are putting that in the chat room, I just want to introduce myself to anyone that is new. I'm Reggie Bryant. So this channel is about personal finance and personal growth, and I mainly help the men become better men and have better financial decisions, learn how to invest, learn how to save, learn how to make your money work for you, learn how to make your money grow. And I largely do it for free on this platform here on YouTube. I also have a company. It's called Wealth Journey Collective, and that's where I have an interactive group. It's basically like a glorified Facebook page where everybody's sharing their wins, they're sharing their opportunities, they're sharing what they want to improve on, and we're helping each other. And I help everyone get to their first $100,000 in net worth and beyond. If you're interested in that, that is in the description. But this is also not like really a commercial for it. This is like a free extension of Wealth Journey Collective. I also do live calls on there every other week, and we break down things and strategies, and we really get down to talking about how we're going to get to this money, because that is what it's about at the end of the day. That's what this whole channel is about. You pronouncing it right? Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Good. I got a name right. Look, I'm so bad with names, so thank you for clarifying that. So as I was getting into I just wanted to really real quick say I want to become part of your nightly routine on Wednesday evenings. You know, as you're winding down, I know personal finance is something that is on people's minds heavily all day, every day, during the day, when they're at work, when they're not at work, and it's in the back of their mind at the very least. And people are always thinking about it. I have conversations about it every single week. People at work right now are even starting to ask me about finances, and it's a very beautiful thing, and I love that. It's just because they're starting to learn about my channel's existence, but I love that. And the thing is, I know it's on people's minds. If people at my job are thinking about that all day, every day, I know everybody else is thinking about it all day, every day. We're talking about highly successful people making big money, right? So I know everybody else is thinking about the same exact thing. So I want to be part of your routine as you wind down for the evening. You know, you just ate, you're winding down, you're relaxing. After this, you might watch a show or something, but before bed, this will hopefully be in the back of your mind. You can start thinking about the rest of your life. You can start thinking about the future. You can start thinking about how you're going to set yourself up, and you might learn quite a few things just watching this show. And hopefully, I can keep you entertained as well. With personal finances, it's not exactly the most exciting thing in the world to talk about or to even think about, but it must be thought about and talked about as well, because we are very much deficient in financial education, especially in America. So hopefully I can do that for you. I do also have a live that will be on Saturday as well. So I hope you join me there. It'll be same time as I do this one on Wednesday, just on Saturday. I do this every other Saturday, but I do this every Wednesday. So sometimes you'll see me twice a week. Sometimes you will see me once per week. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to give you the quick and easy disclaimer. Can I get an amen? This show is for educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, and I'm not a licensed advisor. Nothing I share should be considered financial advice. Always do your own due diligence. And that goes for any financial person you watch, because anybody can talk on the internet. It takes a special person that knows what they're talking about and is able to at the same time engage with their audience. So just make sure you're careful no matter who you listen to. Do your own due diligence. Fact check me, fact check whoever you see online, because at the end of the day, we're all adults and we're all responsible for our own financial decisions. So I wanted to ask you at the beginning of this video where you were financially and how you would describe where you want to be financially, for the simple fact that we don't know what we're looking for. But also the thing that put that question in my mind was a video I came across this week when, ironically, I was scrolling on Instagram. And it just so happened that I came across a profound video. And the guy was saying it's harder than ever to get rich. That caught me right then. Because, like, to an extent I disagreed with that. And then he followed that up by saying, but in the same breath, it's also easier than ever to get rich. I knew exactly what he meant from the beginning. I knew exactly what he was going to say from that point forward. Now, to most people hearing that, they might be jarred by that and be like, well, how could he say that? How does that even make sense, right? But what we don't realize is there's multiple ways to get rich. And in some ways, it's harder. And in other ways, it is far easier. So what he was talking about, in terms of it being harder, is harder when it comes to doing for yourself. When it comes to, for example, the first of all, the dollar, the power of the dollar has dropped drastically. So since 2020, every dollar you spent in 2020 is now $1.25 today. That means you have to spend 25 cents more per dollar, 25% more just to get the same things you would get in 2020. And the thing is, you probably thought, and I did too, that prices were getting ridiculous then. So even since 5 years ago, the value of the dollar has dropped so much that you have to spend more per dollar or more than you did then to what a dollar was then. And that's the time value of money expressed in real time. And the time value of money, if you don't know what that is, all that's saying is a dollar today is worth more than it is tomorrow. And that is so true. And most people will hear that and be like, well, a dollar is just a dollar. No, 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 no. Prices increase. And for the same product that was $10 back then, is 25% more than it was to get the same thing, the same quantity, the same everything. We've experienced it. We've seen it with rent. We've seen it with gas. We've seen it with everything you could possibly imagine, except for maybe gym memberships, because for whatever reason, those don't really seem to experience inflation at the level that we see. But y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm watching this video and I'm listening to this guy talk, and he obviously knows what he's talking about. He's not just some guy on the internet just saying things because they sound good or because it's the next trend. He's saying, look, it is harder. The price or the value of the dollar has dropped. So he didn't say that in the video, but I'm telling you this so you can understand the video more. The value of the dollar has dropped, first of all, but second, it's harder when it comes to jobs because of inflation, right? So you have to make a lot more these days. You have to have a much higher paying job these days and be a good steward of that money these days to do anything with your money to begin with. But then, even when it comes to starting your own business, everyone says starting a business is the best way to make money, right? And it is. It is right in front of you. Look at the companies that you go to every day. When's the last time you've been to Target? When's the last time you've been to Walmart? Right? You can probably say last week. You know what I mean? We go to these places regularly. When's the last time you bought an iPhone? And we're going to really jump into that later. When's the last time you've done these things and participated in being a consumer? And a consumer is not a bad word. I told y'all at the beginning of this video and at the beginning of the stream that there is a good side of being a consumer, which is spending money on things that help and bring more money into your pocket. And then there's being a consumer where it comes to taking money out of your pocket and completely depleting your pockets of the money that you so deserve. So I'm listening to this and I'm like, that's absolutely right. When it comes to starting your own business, it's hard because you're competing against Amazon, you're competing against Etsy, you're competing against Target, Walmart. You're talking about having your own business with your own products. You might even be selling t-shirts. You have to compete against companies that are literally listed on the stock market. Multi-billions, and in some companies, trillions of dollars worth of market cap. So it's harder when they can sell the same product cheaper and better. He was expressing that in that way, it has gotten a lot harder. Does that make it impossible? No, it doesn't. No, it does not. But when it comes to products and services, if the biggest businesses in the world simply have the same products and services as you, and then they have so-called experts working in those fields, especially for services, and they have the best in the world creating the best products in the world, it's going to be harder. And by design, society and civilization and technology has advanced so much to the point that it is hard to compete. But it doesn't make it impossible. New businesses emerge every single day. And the thing is, in those businesses you have jobs, which is why I mentioned the job part. So those businesses pay their people. You have to be competitive and build the skill set. And the thing about learning skills is that's expensive because that costs money. You have to have skills in order to really compete in the market. And a lot of people are not going to teach you for free. That's why they have colleges, and you can learn an absurd amount of things outside of college. But things bring forth credibility, such as degrees, etc. So I say all that to say, in that way it's harder. But let's talk about how it's easier. It's easier to look at those same businesses I just talked about. It's so easy to look at Apple. It's so easy to look at Google, Oracle, Amazon, Microsoft, Nvidia, AMD. Excuse me. I think I said all the ones I wanted to say, but I just want to make sure I'm not leaving anything out. Netflix, that's the one I was thinking of. Is these companies are hot. You've heard of them. You've probably seen them on a daily basis at some capacity. If you open up your computer and you see Java, guess what? That's Oracle. You probably work in Microsoft daily. You probably use your iPhone daily. If you use your Android, guess what? Google. We have to look at this at a multi-scale level. And what I see is, what companies are the best in the world. These are the companies making the most money, right? So the easiest thing in the world is to do a little bit of research, put a little bit of money into the biggest, best companies in the world, and just sit and let it ride and let it grow. And at this point in time, money and stocks specifically is growing at such a rate so quickly that it is easier than ever to become rich when it comes to that, when it comes to investing in stocks specifically. One can even say crypto, but I'm not going to get into that. But what I will say is this. It's easier than ever, but getting the money to invest in the first place, that is the dilemma. And I agree with him 100%. I like to learn how to save better, not good at it. And I'm glad you said that, because that is what this whole platform is about. So I will most definitely help out with that 100%. So here's the thing. It's hard to get money in the first place, but let's talk about outside of those external factors. Those are things that we can't control, right? Let's talk about what we can control. We talked about consumer. The reason the word of the day being consumer is a simple fact that we are all consumers. So, first, let me make sure I'm checking my notes to see that I'm on track with this stream, because I don't want to ramble on a specific topic for too long. But Chuck Alyssa, let me tell you something. These lives are going to help you so much as far as saving money, especially the last few lives I did last week and the week before last. But also even today, just looking at what we're spending on. And this is exactly why, everything I'm talking about today is exactly why I developed an app that's actually going to help everybody do better, because I was sick of using Monarch and Personal Capital and all these other different financial apps, Every Dollar, Rocket Money, and they not be completely accurate and not really show me what I needed to see. So I developed it myself, and it's AI powered to where the AI doesn't get your information, but what it does is it goes to a spreadsheet, and then the AI, I trained it to read the spreadsheet, and then it spits out exactly what your spending habits are and how you can improve on it. And it's completely encrypted. Nobody else has access to it but you. How does that sound? Anyway, when it's ready, probably on Saturday or at least towards the end of the month, I will most definitely show y'all a demo of what that looks like. And if you would like to get it, you could then get it, because everybody will have access to it. But anyway, I say all that to say that some of us are our own worst enemies when it comes to personal finances. We're putting our money into these companies, and it's not a bad thing, but it becomes bad when you spend $500 more on rent than you should be doing just because you want to say I have a nice place. And you don't even realize it because you haven't even thought about the 30% rule, where you're taking your take-home salary and multiplying that by 0.3, which is 30%, and whatever number you get, that's the maximum you should be paying on rent. A lot of us don't even realize that, right? Because we're not looking at the take-home pay, we're looking at the total salary. And if we're even thinking about doing the percentage, we multiply that by the 0.3, and you get a much bigger number than what you should, hence the additional $500. or whatever it is. It could be an extra $100. And I've fallen into this trap myself. And I could have pocketed an additional $100 when I got my first place, when I first moved out of my parents' house. I wanted to prove to everybody I could get a townhouse. But I spent $100 more on rent than I should have been spending. I could have put that $100 towards anything. Could have put it in Bitcoin, could have put it in Apple, could have put it in any ETF you could imagine. I could put it in something that I know would have grown to great lengths today, every single month for that time. And I didn't do it. So this is not a shaming thing. This is just kind of opening everyone's eyes to this is what's happening. This is exactly what's happening. It's not apples to apples when you look at inflation versus your job, because you're not always going to get a raise that coincides with inflation or outpaces inflation. Sometimes you won't get a raise. Sometimes you won't get a bonus. Sometimes you won't get overtime offered to you. And that's another thing that I don't think that we think about too much. So give me one moment, because I do have a presentation that I want to actually show you, but I want to make sure I spoke on everything I wanted to speak on first. I do have my notes right here on my iPad, so don't mind me. We're talking about a person who recognizes that it's harder at the job, recognizes that it's harder to build a business for themselves, make an extra stream of income, and recognizes that it's easier to make money in the stock market, but will buy a new iPhone every single year, but will refuse to buy an Apple stock because investing in stocks is too risky. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same person that will spend that $500 extra a month on rent. It's the same type of person who will increase in their bills in every way you could imagine. They will continue to go out to eat on an almost daily basis. They will continue to do food delivery services like DoorDash or Uber Eats or Instacart, things of that nature, right? We're talking about the type of person who is putting themselves in a situation where, okay, and they also have a car payment, okay, and then also they have a phone bill that's higher than it should because they keep buying the new iPhone or the new Android phone or whatever the case is, or they keep buying the new piece of jewelry that they're still making payments on because even though they wanted it, they couldn't afford to buy the whole thing at once, so they're making payments on it. So what you're essentially doing is your life is putting you on a subscription plan, and nobody really likes subscription plans unless it's something like Netflix, right? The same people will complain about having to pay monthly, right, for a financial app that literally helps them get their finances together. It's worth spending $20, for example, if you're going to get back $200. That's a trade I would make, right? But we're looking at it the wrong way. We're looking at it with the consumer brain and not with a wealth mindset, because in life, right, you have a growth mindset and you have a fixed mindset. And a fixed mindset, right, is someone who is complacent. They don't really feel that they can do much to change the situation. They're kind of just accepting their circumstances. They're saying, hey, I really can't do anything about this. I guess this is just what it is. That is my least favorite saying of all time. It is what it is. What do you mean it is what it is? It is what it is until you get up and change it. We can do things for ourselves out here, and that's what I want to empower you all to do with this channel. We don't become victims to our circumstances. Can our circumstances suck sometimes? Can we dealt a bad hand sometimes? Can we be dealt a bad hand sometimes? Yes, we can. But does that mean we're going to stay in that situation just because? No. There are things we could do. For example, I got tired of the financial apps. I made my own app. I got tired of there not being a community available for people that are talking about building their first $100,000, so I made one. I was tired of wishing that I would have learned certain financial lessons earlier in life, like in my early 20s, because there wasn't anything available online that would have helped me specifically at that time. So I went out and I built one. We can do things for ourselves. And a lot of us, unfortunately, just don't realize that. And I get passionate about it because that's the two mindsets we have. We have the fixed mindset. Then we have the growth mindset, which the growth mindset is a person who knows they can do things for themselves. They always seek different opportunities as far as learning how to grow within their career, or learning how to make money for themselves, or learning how to invest, learning how to always make their money grow. For example, if you're not financially where you want to be, I genuinely don't understand why you don't spend every waking hour of your free time figuring it out. I don't understand it. And people say, well, you got to have fun, you got to relax. I can't relax if I'm not where I want to be financially. I can't, if I don't have money in my bank account, how can I sleep at night knowing I have to provide for myself and later I will have to provide for a family, and knowing that I'm the guy that I want people to be able to lean on when they need money, people who I care about and people who are close to me. Let me be very specific with that. But I want to be that guy. How can I relax if I'm not where I want to be financially? And more importantly, how could I relax if I don't even know what being where I want to be financially even looks like? How is that even possible? You know what I'm saying? So if you hear some bass in my voice, or if you hear me raise my voice a little bit, it's just because I want the best for anybody watching this channel and watching this video, because that's what this is all about, ladies and gentlemen. So what are we going to do about this? Well, first of all, I want to bring something to your awareness. What I'm going to do, I just need to check the price of Apple real quick, and we're going to go to my iPad. So in my iPad right now, let me hope this works actually. Y'all can see that, right? So the iPhone 17 came out just recently, right? 17 Pro Max. I'm writing on my iPad, so if you see it moving, it's no magic. I'm just writing on it. So that price was $1,199 if you got the Pro Max version specifically, right? If you get a phone, more than likely, you're probably going to get a case to go with it. I saw those new tech woven cases. They look pretty cool, right? That's going to run you at the minimum $50. My handwriting is not the best, but I never said that, I was what do you call that, calligraphy? I'm not into calligraphy. So my handwriting is just going to be, messed up for right now until I take the time to actually improve it for myself. But anyway, the case is going to run you about 50. So what's that? Whoops, I can't do math apparently. It's basically $12.50, but it's really $12.49. That's what you're looking at. That is a point that I'm trying to make. That is being a consumer in that, look, that's $1,249 minimum. We haven't even talked about the AirPods or anything else. We're talking about just the phone and the case, right? So you're telling me you would spend $1,249 on a phone, and it might not be all at once. It might be over the course of time where you're making monthly payments. I get it. But at the same time, what I don't understand is this. Back in 2022, Apple stock price let me double check that I have it in my notes. Yep. Apple's stock price was $135. I'm going to draw a little chart so y'all can understand what's going on here. As of 2025, guess how much it is? Need to change colors eventually. It's $252. Both of these prices, there might have been some ups and downs in between, right? But for the most part, it's trending up. So this has gone up we'll say $120 just for the ease of math. But y'all get what I'm saying. It could be $117 in whatever sense. Y'all don't got to get technical. I'm just saying it went up $120 roughly within a 3-year time span. So if you bought up, let's say you bought 10. how much money would you be up? Whatever 10 times 120 is, $1,200. So you would be up more than an iPhone by itself costs if you did that. But it's too risky to invest in stocks. But all of this right here, this $1,249, is going out of your pocket. You're investing $135 and you're buying 10 shares of it. But if it increases by $120 per share, do y'all understand what I'm telling y'all right now? And just in case anybody's curious, the ticker symbol for Apple is this, AAPL. My handwriting might be ugly, but this example is beautiful because imagine if it was 100 shares. Add a 0 to that 1,200. And I'm doing all this math in my head right now, but just for the ease of math, we're talking about 12,000 now. So when it comes to being a consumer, that's the stuff that blows my mind. It's when someone's like, I'm going to get the new iPhone every single year on the year, or every 6 months, whenever they have those in-between models. And it's like, so if you break this down to monthly payments, right? Because another thing is people say, well, I can't afford to pay $135 for 10 shares. Okay, buy one share. Well, I can't afford to buy one share. Okay. You're doing payments for this one, for this one $11.99. You're doing payments for that. So why not put $20 at a time into Apple shares? And this is just an example. I'm not telling you specifically to invest in Apple just because you like Apple products or to invest in Apple, period. I invest in Apple every single month. I'm not telling you to do it. And I can show you my returns here shortly. But my point is, people, that how does it make sense to say any other thing when it comes to watches that are nice? Got the Apple Watch on, right? Phones that are nice, computers that are nice, anything that's nice and it's expensive, you're going to do whatever you can to pay for it, even if that means monthly payments. Except that's going into debt, right? Or at least paying interest, right? So, okay. Or they have payment plans where you're not paying interest, but you get my point. You're still spending the $11.99. So why not just do the same thing, but when Apple is $135? Because then when you come to me in 2025, when you're like, oh, I'm making more money now. Oh, Apple's $252 now. That's too much. I just told y'all inflation is making the power of the dollar weaker and weaker. This right here, what you see, is anti-inflation because of the increase from 2022 to 2025 is so great. It's outpacing inflation and it's paying you. So why not put $20 a month into Apple? Eventually you'll have a share. Eventually you'll be like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to find a way to put more in. The same way you find ways to put more into anything consumer related. You find ways to pay for going out to eat and you justify it by saying, cool, I'm going to swipe my credit card, but hey, I'm getting points in return for this, so it's all good. The meal was $135 for a party of 2, but we're good because I'm getting points. Knowing good and well, you don't plan on paying it off for another 3 months. And that's no shade, that's no nothing. I have a certain tone about myself with this because of the simple fact that you're disrespecting yourself when you do things like this over and over and over again, not realizing, look at how much the Apple iPhone costs. Then you're going to throw a case on it for $50. $50, oh, that's not much, $50. But when it comes to putting $50 toward a stock, it's like, oh, I don't want to lose all my money. The likelihood of you putting $50 in Apple and you losing all 50 of the dollars is so low, it is incredible. Mainly because Apple is such a great company, but also you would have to be in such a bad company that like no one's probably ever heard of for you to put $50 and you just lose all the $50 within like a month's time. I'm just trying to tell you, like, and this is why I said not knowing things is expensive. Because if you don't know these things, how can you make money? You have to know about these things. You have to learn about these things. Even if no one teaches it to you, I'm teaching it to you. And to be frank about it, guys and girls, I love what I do. I love educating and talking about this and speaking on this. But I never really see a ton of people run towards this type of content. I see people running towards cat videos and Instagram videos where girls are half naked. I see, people really pushing negativity. I see people sending gruesome videos of Charlie Kirk getting shot over and over and over again and making fun of his death. I see stuff like that being glorified and people running to that content. But when it comes to your future and being actually successful in life, there's not too many people that run towards it. So this channel is for a special type of person who really is not blinded or distracted by everything that's going on in the world today, but they are looking within themselves and they're like, look, there's goals I have, and absolutely nothing is going to get in front of me and my goals. And it's crazy because when you break it down like this, I could give you so many more examples. Apple is just one example, right? So let me just real quick show you my portfolio. Oh man, this is about useless. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to stop sharing this real quick. I'm going to put my information in. But y'all see what I'm saying? Maybe y'all just need to see some real numbers. This is just one account, by the way. I'm going to get my information typed in real quick. So don't mind me. Ask me a question if you want to in the chat right now as I type this in. All right, we're in there. Oh, forgot to actually hit the boom. So today wasn't even a great day, but if we look at my overall open P&L, that stands for profit and loss, that says $20,000. Let me see if I can make this bigger actually. Y'all need to see this. I'm not like saying I'm an expert, the greatest investor of all time or anything like that, but I am saying, look at this. I'm going to put this over me for a second. Check this out. So my overall account, that's how much money is in it total. But it's up $20,761.56. I just started this specific account. It was like middle of 2020 or something like that. But look at this. These are my investments right now. And this is just one account. But look at Apple at the bottom. It's up $3,206.06. Do y'all see that? It's in the green. The current value is $10,400. My average that I got in was $174 because I invest in Apple every single month. Not even in just this account, but other accounts too. But it's worth $252.30. That's the number on top. The number at the bottom, the 174.52. That's what we're looking at. But that's not even just Apple. Look at Nvidia. I sold like 70 shares of Nvidia earlier this year, and it's still up $10,323, 308%. Look at my account. My overall account is 109%. This is not bragging, but this is saying, look, let me resize this again. But I'm just saying, look, do you think that maybe this outpaces inflation? Riley Idler says, what up? Hey, what's up, Riley? How you doing? Glad to have you here again. But do y'all see what I'm saying? This is one account, and this is like, how are you going to buy the new iPhone every single time or even just every few years and be like, oh, but I'm terrified of the stock market, right? And then in the same breath, oh, I have car payments, and that's like $600, $700 a month. But you get what I'm saying? I still drive the same car I was driving when I was 20. So 10 years ago, same exact car. And I'm gonna go back to my notes. Whoops, not those notes, these notes. But if you bought a car in cash, for example, and it was like $5,000, $6,000 to $10,000, and I know it takes some time to get that, so don't get me wrong, but if you have a car that it's easy to pay off more or less, you can pay it off within like a year or two, and then you just keep it. I'd say a year. I wouldn't even say 2 years. A year. Let's go by a year. It's $5,000, $6,000 car. You pay it off in a year, and you drive that thing, and you take care of it. You maintenance it. The $500, $600, $700 car payment is no more. You understand what I'm saying? And that can then go into the stock market. And that was one account. And you see, if I'm up $20,000, that means I put and the whole account was worth 39,000 plus dollars, almost $40,000. That means I put in less than what it has earned me already, which means I have more than doubled my account. Simon says, "What's up, Reggie? What's up, Simon? How you doing? Glad to have you in here." I was just going, y'all. I'm talking about consumerism and like the difference between. Let me lock this in real quick. The difference between being a consumer and actually having a wealth mindset, because on the other side of there being a fixed mindset and a growth mindset in life, and that's really popular in personal growth, there's also these two mindsets in personal finance, and that's the consumer mindset and the wealth mindset. So like you're buying a new iPhone, and I don't have anything against it. I love iPhones. This is an iPhone, but this is the 14 Pro Max. Like I don't always see the need to upgrade, but when I do, it makes sense because at least I can say I have all these Apple shares, and it makes logical sense. I'm invested in Apple, and I have the newest iPhone every now and then. But like the people who refuse to invest, refuse to listen about investing, are too scared of losing their money, they're the same people who would spend. I'm going to actually share this again because this diagram was shown, I think, a little before you two got on. But so you would spend basically $1,200 on an iPhone, but you would do it in payments, but you wouldn't do the same thing down here. You know what I'm saying? For the shares of Apple, $135. If you can't afford the 135, this was back in 2022, by the way, you can put 20 in at a time until you're able to afford a full share, and then eventually it grows into 252, which is the price that it is today. And a consumer spending an iPhone, they got to buy the case as well. And then this $1,249 is the total price. Excuse me, that's all going out of your pocket. But putting the money into the stock, if you bought 100 shares and it got up to 252, that's $12,000. Roughly $12,000. And all that money stayed in your pocket and then grew some money on top of it. So that's really what I was going over. And I'm going to drop the call line as well in here if anybody wants to get on here and discuss anything, because I'm pretty much done with my rant about everything. I just wanted to kind of break down the difference between being a consumer in that way, and I'll even show you I will show y'all my Roth IRA as well real quick. Where is my Roth IRA? M1. I'm going to make sure there's nothing crazy popping up as far as like my personal information, my sign-in information. Yeah, it's making me log in. All right, so I'm in now. Well, after I get my authentication, so I'm going to do that real quick. All right. Let me get on Zoom too in case somebody wants to call in. Chuck Alyssa says bills are getting more expensive, rent, etc. Oh, absolutely. They absolutely are. It's ridiculous, to be perfectly honest with you. Here, let me show y'all my Roth IRA. This is my Roth IRA. It has gone up so much. I'll even show y'all what it's invested in. Hold on. This mess needs to go down somewhere. I basically put $700 a month into this until it gets to 7,000, but I mean, just look at this. I think there's a way to show you like a overtime thing as far as like, let's see, holdings. Yeah, look at the holdings. That's how much it's gone up and everything, but I say all this to say like it's not really like rocket science or anything like that. It's just as simple as look, this is what's going on. I want to show y'all too. I didn't always take this seriously, y'all. Look, 2021, 2020 wasn't anything. 2021, I put something in there. 2022, I didn't. 2023, I really didn't put that much in there. It was pretty much the same as 2021. And then, you know what I'm saying? It just, so you see what I'm saying. The quicker we get out of a consumer mindset, the better. And this, by the way, this time range right here is just for a year. So you see 11%, 19%, 17%, 17%. But I thought people were saying that the stock market only returns 4% a year. Where did y'all get that mess from? It does way more than that. And if you do 10% a year for 10 years, that compounds. And then you're starting to look at 100+%. But that's just for a year. Let's look at all. Now, look, we're looking at 96.04% overall. But look at this. 112%, 124%, 77%, 68%. So you see what I'm saying. And this was not my strategy, by the way. I learned this strategy from Ian Dunlap. He's an investor that's also on YouTube discussing a lot of great things. He's super in depth. He's on a different level of investing. So I did definitely take some of his advice and went ahead and implemented this in just a part of my wealth. But y'all saw my other portfolio. That one is up too. So you see what I'm saying? So like once you start getting into the tens of thousands in your investments, you'll start to see very quickly that it doesn't take much to get to your first six figures after your money has compounded so much. And once you hit six figures in one account, which I do have, by the way, that just starts going into overtime for you. And you really don't have to do that much at all. So Riley says, you've inspired me to start back up my Acorns account. $19 every Wednesday automatically will exit my account. That's awesome. Yeah, because we invest just little by little. And it grows into massive amounts when we get older. And a lot of us really don't even realize that. Let me go ahead and get into Zoom in case anybody wants to talk. If you do decide to get on Zoom, you won't be on YouTube on the camera like my iPad was. So my phone is where I use Zoom on. My iPad is where I do my notes and my screen sharing on. So you will not be at all on YouTube if you decide to get on here and talk. I also have my Roth IRA that literally has all VOO. And Riley, that is perfect. And if you just keep it at VOO, you will outpace mostly everybody just off of having VOO by itself. That's an excellent thing to do. And as you saw, I have VOO in there. So like it's not even investing is not rocket science. It's one of the simplest things you can do. And there are going to be people that know significantly more than even me about investing that do significantly worse because they're trying to beat the market. Why do that when you can invest in something that tracks the market performance and then invest in things on top of that that you know are outpacing that exact same thing, like what I just showed you? So it's not rocket science. It's very simple. And I have a whole platform where I teach how to invest. Like within my Wealth Journey Collective platform, my investing course is on there and it's included with the Wealth Journey Collective membership. It's like, it's a no-brainer to me. Like, why not learn how to do these things? Like if you're skeptical about investing, cool, go learn about it. And once you've learned about it, oh wow, I was so wrong about so many things. And even this call alone, like even this stream alone, I hope has actually showed you all a lot more about investing. I work 7 days and still struggle, says Chuck Alyssa. Yeah, and you know what? It's like that sometimes, and I completely empathize because I used to work 7 days. And it's like that because when it comes to work, it's so much harder because you have to put in more hours, more work, more blood, sweat, and like you're doing all of these things. Riley's in the waiting room. I'm gonna go ahead and admit Riley. One moment, Riley. I'm gonna. Can you go ahead and mute yourself real quick? I'm gonna finish my point, then I'll get to you real quick. All right. So I did the 7 day thing, and I was like, and I still wasn't where I wanted to be financially. I was still like, but it was because I didn't know about investing. It was because I didn't know about how to automate my savings and how to do things in a specific way. And I also was not actively using something that could help me understand my habits and my spending habits, things like that. That's why I invented the app that I was telling y'all about earlier. Because like no one wants to look at a spreadsheet all day and like look at all the different financial information and stuff and then have to use a bunch of mental bandwidth on things that it could just tell you. So I completely understand, Chuck Alyssa. So I'm really hoping that this platform, this channel helps you out a lot. Riley, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Another day in paradise. What do you have for me today?
Oh, not too much. I just wanted to say hello and tell you thank you for the inspiration. I was watching you for a while, and yeah, I was glad to see you start popping back up on my YouTube feed. I don't know why you popped back up, but I was on that other live. Now I hopped on this one, so yeah.
Oh, when did you start watching my channel?
Probably back in 2020,
Oh wow.
right when I started investing. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, I think the reason I just now started popping back up is because like on your channel specifically or on your YouTube account specifically is because I took like 8 months off to start developing that app that I was telling everyone about because I didn't realize how much would go into it, but there's a lot of coding and like technical stuff that honestly I wasn't prepared to do at first. So it took me like a long time to get it done. So that was I was really just focusing on that and focusing on my community and wealth journey collective. But then once I got those things squared away, I was like, let me get back on YouTube. I need to keep spreading my message. But I definitely appreciate you supporting the channel and just watching. And I love that you're inspired by it because that's the whole purpose. I want people to invest their money, even if it's a little bit at a time. I started with a little bit at a time. I started with $200 in that same account I just showed y'all with the Webull account. I started that account with $200. The first thing I bought on it was Visa stock, and from there I built on. I sold some stocks at a profit. I sold some stocks at a loss, and invested it into those same companies and ETFs that I just showed everybody, and it just started taking off. So I say all that to say like it's gonna start off small, but it's gonna become massive. Riley, how old are you again?
I'm 21.
Oh, that's excellent. So, like, just starting at 21 too, like you're gonna be ahead of so many people just from starting early on. So I'm definitely happy to see that. Is that the main thing you do right now? Is your Roth IRA? Is there anything else you invest in?
Uh, yeah, I would say myself, but like what mostly it's just the Roth IRA. I'm really into goal setting, and so in my notebook here,
Mm-hmm.
I can show you. This was in here. I'll turn my camera on. In 2020, the beginning of 2025, I would write down in my uh, raw in my planner that I have
Mm.
21,000 in my investment account due to saving. I will acquire 6,500 in my bank account, and I kept writing down this number, this number, this number. I'm at this number already
That's
now.
crazy.
by the sixth month of the year because every single day I wrote it down.
Wow, that's
Every single
powerful.
day. So yeah, see, and now I'm on to a different goal because I already maxed that one out. You know, I already maxed out my Roth IRA, so now I'm on to a different personal goal of mine. But do you think that that's a good way to kind of go about it, or should I kind of do something more like the $500 a month or $700 a month kind of recurring? Or does it really matter as long as the money's getting in there?
As far
Because
as how you distribute it across your Roth IRA.
yeah,
Oh no, I do 700 just because I like to get that complete early, and even sometimes I'll do it earlier than that. So the way you did it, I think, is perfect. Like the fact that you maxed it out already for this year, that says a lot, and I think that is absolutely incredible. And you just said that's all in VOO, so VOO is incredibly reliable. So I think the way you did it, and I must say, the thing that you put in there, what I saw in that notebook was a bunch of affirmations, and you kept reaffirming it over and over and over again. You said you already got to that number and surpassed that number, so that's incredible. I wish more people were like that, because when it comes to your goals, you seriously have to write them down. You have to write them down over and over and over again. You have to see it. You have to, because what's going to happen is you're going to be thinking about that in the back of your mind. You're going to do more things toward that goal because you're going to be thinking about it all the time. It makes it hard to stress about life and other things because if you're letting truly nothing get in the way of your goals, you're always thinking about your goals, and then stuff pops up. Like, just for example, if I can get off topic slightly, when I was writing my book called The Wealth Journey, I didn't know what to write about, but I kept telling myself, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to write a book. And then I put in my notes, okay, let me start putting an outline together. Okay, this is what chapter one is going to be about. This is what, okay, you know what? I have another idea. Chapter two, chapter three. I'm going to start writing them now. Oh man, I have chapter 4 through 6 now. And, when you write things down instead of just talking about it, there's a certain power to that I don't think a lot of people realize. So I was really refreshed by seeing that not only did you have a notebook, but I saw multiple pages over and over and over again with the same thing. So with any goal that you have in life, Riley, what I would say is what you've done with your notebook, and just the simple habit of writing the goals down, I think is going to give you substantial results with any endeavor you have in life. So I thought that was really great to see. With your Roth IRA, I think at 21, if you're able to max it out every single year, when you're 59 and a half, you will be a multi-millionaire by investing in the Roth IRA alone. And I know you probably have other stuff going on besides that too. So just your Roth IRA alone is going to make you a multi-millionaire. So I would say just keep doing what you're doing. That's incredible, and that's very impressive.
thank you. I appreciate that. Writing it down on paper definitely will bring it to life.
And you're
Uh,
21. How long have you been investing in your Roth IRA?
uh, I think I did a little bit whenever I was 18, but and I kind of took a break when yeah, since I was 18, I'd say.
Man, so you got a few years with investing in the Roth IRA. So I got to tell you, you're ahead. You're ahead of most 30-year-olds I know. You're
Wow.
ahead. I'm serious. I'm talking like big money 30-year-olds. Like I'm talking people in different states and all kinds of things. I know a lot of people, but you're doing well. You're keep doing what you're doing, and I'm
Thank
telling
you.
you, in your career, and I don't know what exactly you do, but like in your career in life and investments, you're going to outpace so many people just because you're thinking differently, and you did it as young as 18 years old. You're outpacing most people in their 20s that I know. So I mean, just keep doing what you're doing. That's great.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I know that if you ask, it will be given to you. If you seek, you will find. If you knock, the door will be open to you. Everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and him who knocks, the door will be open. So whatever we're looking for, we're gonna find it. and you're searching for wealth, and it's going to come to you as well. So keep up the good work. Let's hop on another call sometime on a Zoom. Just here, let me. I can send you my personal number, or we can talk again or something.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You can do that. I'll take it
All right,
down.
I'll type it in the chat, and I'm gonna call it a night. But yeah, here's this, and keep up the good work. All right.
All right, thank you.
Of course.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right, y'all. That was a very refreshing conversation. This is why I love getting on live and getting on the live calls. It's way more fulfilling than posting a video and forgetting about it. I don't care if like I post a video and it gets like a million views. There's nothing better than talking to real people who have like real aspirations, or it doesn't matter if it's aspirations, struggles, questions. I just love talking to people because, excuse me, this brings people together from different areas, different locations around the world, and it shows you that there are like-minded people on this planet, even if there are a few people who are, and it's like a very niche thing to talk about investing and money and things like that. Um, it shows that there are people out here like that, and it helps me build the audience even further. Do we have any questions in the chat? Do we have any feedback in the chat about today's call? I don't have too much information. Uh, Besides what I just said already, but I wanted to kind of bring that home because I've had my own frustrations about how I've handled my own personal finances in my early 20s and up till now. And of course, I've made a lot of adjustments and I've built wealth and I've done a great job with doing so. And I've kicked myself several times for like, you're not a millionaire now because you didn't do this when you were 21. But in the same breath, if I didn't learn these lessons, I don't know that I'd be in front of you talking right now and sharing these stories and lessons with you because I probably wouldn't have learned them, you know? So it's one of those things where hindsight, when hindsight is 2020. So this has been a very refreshing call. I've loved every second of it, and I'm glad that I could be here with you all today. If we don't have any more questions, and if we don't have anyone else looking to join the Zoom call, I will end the stream. But first, I just want to give y'all a few moments to ask questions or to let me know anything you want to say. Chuck Alyssa, I hope this call was helpful to you. Let me know in the chat if it was helpful to you. Um, yeah, let me see if I have any extra notes, closing thoughts, or anything that I forgot to mention earlier. All I can say, ladies and gentlemen, is on top of all the external things that we can't control how the stock market does, we can't control um, how much inflation is going up and things like that, at least not directly. So we have to focus on what we can control. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy. I've been my own worst enemy. Even last year when I started the Wealth Journey series here on YouTube, when I was making videos about my specific wealth journey and my spending habits and things, I built a really advanced spreadsheet that wasn't anything like the app that I built, but I had to do all the work and I uploaded all the stuff. I was looking at stuff manually. Took me so long to do, but I did learn that my vice was DoorDash, and I was spending stupid, like copious amounts of money on it every single month just because I didn't feel like doing anything or going anywhere. It was the craziest thing. Like, I'm not even a lazy person. I'm very active, very physically active, and I like to work out, and I do Muay Thai and all these other things. So maybe that was it. Maybe I was just tired from Muay Thai, and I was like, I want something to eat, but I ain't getting up to get something to eat. So I just wanted to I just wanted to make sure that I got my habits down, and like every month it was like DoorDash, DoorDash, and I was like, see, this is getting stupid. I need to slow it down some. But Chuck, listen, I'm glad that this was helpful for you. I really am. Um, I will be on live again on Saturday. I will be live again on Saturday. So stay tuned for that. I do have a lot of topics that I'm ready for already. And so it's going to depend on what's on my mind on Saturday. Y'all can also Let me know in the chat room if you have any ideas or things that you would love to hear me talk about. I can add that to my list as well because I'm here to serve you. I am going to bring up things that happen in my personal life or conversations that I've had or uh, things that I know people are going through in general. And that's going to, or things that, ideas I come up with throughout the week just based on life in general. But if you have anything that you want me to speak on, I most definitely will. Chuck Alyssa, thank you so much for sticking around throughout the whole thing. And I hope you got something out of it. I hope you continue to watch me. I'm going to be here on YouTube. I shoot for 7 o'clock on Wednesdays, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Wednesdays, but tonight it was closer to 8 o'clock. So I think I like this better a little later because it gives people more of an opportunity to get on. So I might do it closer to 8. But anyway, you'll get notifications if you subscribe to me. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to this video, leave something in the comments. YouTube, the algorithm will just keep pushing my videos to you when you do those things. So you'll know next time when I go live. But I will be going live again Saturday evening. We'll be shooting for 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on that day. So stay tuned for that. And then, as you know, following that, I will be on the following Wednesday as well. Have a great evening, y'all. I hope y'all have gotten a lot out of this one particular video. Hopefully, you didn't feel like I was yelling at you, but sometimes the passion has to come out, and I do have to give tough love where tough love is due because I feel like I'm like a financial big brother to you. And you know how big brothers are. I am a big brother, so I know how it is. So I just want to make sure that y'all get what you deserve, the information you deserve, because right now, if you don't have the results that you want in life, what you can do to replace that is get the information and then implement that information. And the next thing you know, you will have those results. So keep it up, everybody.